Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport for today's Rainbow Cup Round 4 Team of the Week. We've gone into a bit of a break for the Rainbow Cup. There'll be no action this weekend, unfortunately, but what I will say about this weekend is it finally looked like we were playing a very nice high standard of rugby. Some brilliant games in both encounters. And the tournament very much still open. Keep an eye out for our review, which will be coming out tomorrow. Basically looking at a review of the weekend, looking at the log, how all the teams are sort of stacking up, and who's looking good to try and make that all-important final in June, where they'll be traveling to Europe to face the best of the Northern Hemisphere. But today we're looking at a selection of the top 15 performing players, and it is very much Lions dominated. So if there was ever going to be a team where you can try and pull apart because of my Lions bias, it's probably this one. But I think if you look at the players, you can't really argue against their merits. The Lions were very, very good for their very hard-fought 34 points to 33 victory over what was a very good Bull side. You know, maybe not the best Bull side, but it's also not the best Lions side. And I think that, you know, the Lions went toe-to-toe and managed to actually bag a very important victory. So some of those players are awarded today in the Team of the Week. And a couple of players who continue to be in the Team of the Week keep popping up, in fact, and it could suddenly be, knocking on the doors for potential Springbok selection. So another very interesting weekend with regards to that. Before you look at the team, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll still have some content over the next couple of days. Obviously, we've got no live watch-alongs or anything this weekend, but we'll make sure that we've got content coming up all the time so that you're always informed of what's going in and around the South African rugby scene. But if we look at our team for this week, as I said, lots of Lions players. I think just the one Sharks player, a couple of Storms players, and a couple of Bulls players. So we're starting at the front. It was a very easy selection. That Lions front row was probably reason number 1 through to 10 as to why the Lions won. They were up against Lizo Koboka, Trevor Nyakane, and Johan Krabbelar, a scrum and a front row which decimated the Sharks in the second half 2 weeks ago, and was one of the big reasons why they beat the Sharks and got that front foot. Steve Sitole, Jaco Saki, and Carly Sardi were absolutely immense, and in fact, I think particularly Carly Sardi, but even Steve Sitole, both of them probably putting their hands up and saying to Rassi, listen, we could actually do a job if you want. I've been particularly impressed with how Steve Sitole has been improving. Carly Sardi we've known as a very talented player and somebody who's destined to probably play for the Springboks one day. And this weekend he showed once again he was good against the Stormers, also about 2 weeks ago, and it was very, very good this weekend up against Lizo Koboka. And they were also pretty good around the park. I mean, Carly Sardi made 6 tackles. Steve Sitole made 6 tackles. Jaco Saki made 6 tackles. His line-out-time work was pretty decent. He made 22 meters. Jaco Saki across 6 carries. Carly Sardi made 8 carries. So they were pretty industrious around the park, but it was that front row effort which really sort of cemented their place. Ruben Schoeman, try scorer for the Lions. He opened the scoring in the game, and again, he's becoming immense for the Lions. I mean, Willem Albert's coming off the bench, and I think we're going to probably see a combination of Willem Albert and Ruben Schoeman coming up because Ruben Schoeman is becoming undroppable. This weekend, he put in a huge, huge shift. He made 11 tackles for the Lions, the most of any other player. Did not miss a single tackle as well. He made 3 carries, beat 1 defender, scored a try. But was very, very hard working, and he's very useful in the lineouts. And he sort of added a little bit of bulk to that pack. The Lions pack is a little bit loose, a little bit sort of light, I suppose. But he adds a bit of bulk and a lot of hard work. So I've been quite impressed with Ruben Schoeman, how he's come on. Somebody who sort of seems to be in the team week in, week out is Ruan Nokia. Another very, very impressive performance from him this weekend. 10 tackles, made 4 turnovers, 1. And 1 missed tackle. And it was the turnovers for me that was very impressive. I mean, for somebody who's quite tall and stuff like that, he's very good in the lineouts. And then, he was very good over the ball this weekend. You always get a very hard-working, industrious performance from him. And this weekend, he was characteristically very good there. Siya Kolisi, for me, gets in the number 6. Probably his best jersey and best match in a Sharks jersey, should I say, so far. Got a try assist, a brilliant try assist. Sat down, Ruan now. Nice pass to the left. Looked very good before he went off injured, which is a little bit of a worry for the Springboks. The Sharks didn't have to do a lot of defending until the sort of last part. So he only made 4 tackles of the 5 he had to make. 2 turnovers as well on the attack. 3 carries. Obviously that try assist, which was so important. Made a couple of meters. He was very, very good. I thought that was the best we've seen Siya Kolisi play in the Sharks shirt, and good to see that a lot of these players seem to be finding form at the right time. Pieter-Steph du Toit, I mean, it was so difficult to try and choose between Pieter-Steph du Toit and Vincent Tuka. Those are the 2 man of the matches. And it's ironic how last week we had the 2 Flowerhouse man of the match, and this week the 2 number 7s. Vincent Tuka for me could be a Springbok bolter. He looks like a player. Him and Albert Lowe would not look amiss in that Springbok squad. But Pieter-Steph du Toit, another monumental effort for the Stormers. Coming back after being left out for a week, playing a full 80 again. He made 35 meters across 5 carries, scoring a very, very good try on the defense, made 11 tackles, missing 2. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. And really good to see that fitness, and despite missing so long, he looks, as good as he always does. So a very solid performance from him. Dwayne Vermeulen gets in there at number 8. To be fair, he was very solid. There's no doubt about it. He made 8 tackles, 1-2 turnovers, played a very big part in that Madosh Tambwe try with the way he charged down the kick. 6 carries. But also, I think what also helps, I thought that the number 8s were generally pretty poor this weekend. Len was saying, worked pretty hard. He made 8 carries and, made a decent amount of tackles and stuff like that, but wasn't a particularly flashy performance from him. And I thought Henko Fenta and Evan Ruiz as well, they're solid performances, but nothing special that was going to dislodge Dwayne Vermeulen. He's just so good and so consistent. Jaden Hendrick gets my pick at scrum half. I thought Zach Berger didn't look too bad for the Bulls. Had a couple of nice breaks. Andrew Warner, not a bad game from him either. And Herschel Yankees looked very, very good. And I thought probably one of the better games I've seen Herschel Yankees play, in fact. And I think he was probably very unlucky not to get into this game. But I thought Jaden Hendricks was sort of the shining light of the Sharks. He tried very hard and was making a bit of a difference in quite a losing cause. I thought that his distribution was very good. I thought he got the ability to be able to spot space and be able to read the game very well. So that's why he sort of edges Herschel Yankees, but I was very impressed with what Herschel did. I think if I were to make one change to this team, it probably would be Herschel Yankees, maybe over Jaden Hendricks. So those two were very, very close. Jordan Henderson, for me, gets in there at number 10. Cohen Bosch was all right. I think there's quite a lot of criticism. I think you can start to sort of see it, the fact he doesn't. And look, a lot of it's got to do with the Sharks' game plan, but he doesn't take the ball to the line. I think it's a bit of a waste having Spoon, Corsi, Penclair, Lacania, Marius Lowe to a certain degree, Uploaded Fassi. You got all those players in your backline, and all they're doing is chasing down up and unders. He also didn't kick particularly well. Jordan Henderson was the best with the boot. Adam Van Reen, you can't put a fly half in at number 10 who got 40% of his kicks. The Stormers, if you had nailed those kicks off the tee, it would have been a much easier affair. Same as Chris Smith, scored a try, but it wasn't particularly good in front of the poles. Jordan Henderson kicked some very important penalties. He had an 83% conversion success rate. He also, I thought, kicked very well tactically. He's got a very big boot on him, makes his tackles when he has to. I thought a very, very impressive performance once again from the Young Lions fly half. And then the two wings, Edwin van der Merwe and Madosh Tambwe. Ras McClane, probably a little bit unlucky to miss out after a brilliant solo effort. But Edwin van der Merwe, once again with the tries, 2 tries for him. One was absolutely sensational, from his own half, stepped out of 1, stepped out of 2, had the pace, and nobody could stop him. He ran a total of 70 meters across 3 carries, 2 clean breaks, 2 tries. What more can you want from the man, really? And didn't miss a tackle either. Madosh Tambwe, equally, it was between him and Ras McClane, but Madosh Tambwe, 70 meters made, scored a very good try, had 2 carries, 5 defenders beaten. He was a big part of that try in David Creel's second try where he made that breakdown straight through the middle. Madosh Tambwe, he could also be somebody who could potentially be looking at a Springbok call-up. The centres, Burger Unda, I thought was very, very good, as was Cornel Hendricks. It was quite a bit of a toss-up between them. Cornel Hendricks, I thought, was probably just one of the better players in that Bulls side. I think that Bulls backline struggles a little bit. I think James Verity is probably not quite the sort of standard they want. Marco Jansen van Vuren is all right, but nothing particularly special. David Creel gets him, and I also think that they would like more from him. But Cornel Hendricks is Mr. Consistent. I thought Burger Unda was also very good. He made 41 meters across 10 carries, beating 10 defenders. He could have gone in there straight as well. I just thought Cornel Hendricks, played a very good important part in some of the tries, and he's just a very important cog in that Bulls attack. But I thought Burger Unda was very impressive. Wanted to Similani gets in an outside center. Outplayed the rest. Lacania was a bit quiet. Ruan now got sat down by Sia Khaleesi. And Similani, he didn't have as much to do on the attack as he probably would have liked. 21 meters from his 4 carries, beating 7 defenders. He always does, doesn't he? But he also had a couple of very interesting kicks, which were quite showed a bit of a different side to his game, which was quite interesting. And I'll go with David Creel at the back. I thought even if he struggled a little bit on defense, he didn't make any tackles, which is the second week in a row he hasn't. David Creel scored 2 tries, so he kind of picks himself, doesn't he? I believe that Fassi had a very good first half. I thought kind of sort of faded off in the second half. David Willemse as well. He had moments, but just overall, I thought David Creel was probably a bit better, and you can't really leave somebody else who scored 2 tries. So let me know what you think of that team. I think people who are hard down, obviously Vincent Tuka and Herschel Yankees could come into the side, and I think there will be no complaints either. NJ Pulse I thought was pretty good for the Lions as well in number 6. In the locks, JD Schickerling had a very good game for the Stormers. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.